Check, 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 check. Hey, hey, hey. Uncredible Sources podcast, man. We are here. This is not Rock from the Reachoverculture podcast. This is Rock from the Uncredible Sources podcast. You heard? So we are here. We are live, man. Just wanted to give a live recap, especially over the NBA draft. Just happened tonight. We had some crazy drafts. Shout out to my brothers. Shout out to Rob, MC, X, the most interesting man this side of the Mississippi. You heard? Um, I'm gonna go at it solo dolo tonight, and we just gonna go from there, man. Again, shout out to my dogs. Uncredible Sources is on the way. If you run across this video, make sure you DM me at real name Rock. Make sure you DM me at real name Rock, and we'll try you out for the Uncredible Sources podcast, man. We looking for new talent. You heard? We're gonna keep this short and sweet. First round of the NBA draft 2023. Number one pick, obviously, as everybody knows, is Victor. I don't really know how to say his last name, but shout out to him. I feel like he landed in the perfect situation. He landed in the perfect situation. Um, San Antonio Spurs is synonymous with winning. They're synonymous with excellence, and they're synonymous with building up superstars. When you talk about David Robinson, we talking about Tim Duncan. When you're talking about guys like Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, even going and getting guys like Stack Jackson, Boris Diaw, they are known for taking international players. Outside of David Robinson, they are known for taking international players and building them up to be NBA superstars, or stars, all stars, however you want to call it. I am not sure how much longer Greg Popovich has in his coaching tenure, but I'm pretty sure that Victor Wembanyama just added another 3 to 4 years on the Coach Popovich's coaching life, to his lifespan. So shout out to Victor. We all knew he was going number one. As far as him being the greatest prospect, I just don't know. He is great. I've watched a few games of his. He is great. To see what he can do on the floor at 7'5" is unprecedented. Unprecedented. So, hey, to each his own. I don't know. I mean, he. When you talk about the word prospect is based off of potential, and when you're talking about potential and the hype behind what makes a prospect, hey, he is the greatest prospect since LeBron James, because we've never seen this much hype since LeBron James. So, hopefully he pans out. Um, as far as the rookie season, I don't know. Maybe 20-10, maybe 20-12. He's in the Southwest Conference. I'm sorry, Southwest Division of the NBA. So you're going against guys like Zion if he's healthy. Um, you got Luke and the crew in Dallas. You got a young Houston team, and so I don't know about 20-10 his rookie year. I'm thinking more about 15-7. If he goes 15-7 for his rookie year, then I think he's off to a great start. And then as he gets adjusted to the game, let's just see how it goes. But I'm not a fan of overhyping any NBA rookie that comes into the league. I mean, he is 7'5". He does have a slim frame. Kevin Durant showed you a slim frame don't mean that much. But Victor does have some game. Let's see if he lives up to the hype. He's in the perfect situation, and let's just see what he does. I like him. I like his game, but I don't know. I don't want to get too high, and I definitely don't want to get too, low on his game. You dig what I'm saying? So let's just see what he does. Brandon Miller goes number 2 to Charlotte Hornets, and we were in the group chat, and I said this is a perfect pick for Charlotte Hornets. They need a wing. Scoot Henderson would have just been another ball dominant guard, opposite of LaMelo, who they've already had a vested interest in. And so I feel like Brandon Miller was the right pick. You need a dynamic wing, very Danny Granger like. Somebody that can put the ball in the bucket. If you know Danny Granger, then you know he was a bucket, just couldn't stay healthy. And so Brandon Miller can keep his head on straight, which in Charlotte seems to be a very tough vice, a very tough thing to do. If he can keep his head on straight, then they might have some in Brandon Miller. I mean, I like this game. I watched a lot of his games at Alabama. He's a wing. He can shoot he can shoot 15 foot extended. He can finish at the rim defensively. But even NBA, today's NBA, what does defense really count for? You hear me? So Brandon Miller, I feel like they made the right pick with the Charlotte Hornets and Scoot Henderson would have clashed with LaMelo Ball. Now, talking about Scoot Henderson, he did go number 3 to the Trailblazers, in which I think that's a telltale sign for what is about to happen with Dame. Because again, Dame is a very ball dominant guard. What do you do with that? Like, what do you do with a Dame Lillard and a young Scoot Henderson who's going to come in to prove himself? I don't know what you really do with that, but I think it's a telltale sign that Portland is really ready to move on. In the case that Dame wants to stay, he wants to go. Like, look, we just got another young, impressionable guard that is a little bit more athletic than you and might have more of an upper ceiling than you as a prospect coming in, who's looking to be better than you in the next 2 to 3 years, as Dame is in his early 30s. I think he's like 32, 33. So I think Portland Trailblazers really did what was best in their interest in drafting him. And we'll see how that works out. We'll just see how it works out. I think it's a telltale sign for what they're looking to do with Dame. And if they do move Dame this summer, then they're rebuilding around Scoot Henderson. Now, also, the Thompson twins figured they'd go 4 and 5. Honestly, I've heard that Amen Thompson. I've seen them play. I feel like Amen is a little bit of a better player. Detroit can use all the help that they can get. I mean, it doesn't hurt to add another wing, athletic wing that can move up and down the floor. For Houston, it doesn't hurt to add another athletic wing that can move up and down the floor. I don't know how Amen and Jalen's progress works moving forward, unless you want to put Jalen at the 1 and put Amen at the 2. But he's got a lot of young talent, and it's going to be a dog eat dog world down there in Houston. In Detroit, same. I mean, Azor can possibly work with Cade, but Cade has to get healthy. But they already have a lot of young pieces. And so, when you drafting so many young, talented pieces, the weak from the strong do tend to weed itself out. But at the same time, you might be missing out on a talent just simply by having too much young talent. You might miss out on somebody that can actually turn out to have the better career down the line. And so, but it never hurts to stack too much young talent. So I knew the Thompson Twins would go. Other than that, I mean, outside of those first 5 to 6 picks, anything goes. Now, we talking about Scoot Henderson. My boys aren't here, so let me talk about the New Orleans Pelicans. Uh, the New Orleans Pelicans drafted Hawkins, Jay Hawkins from the University of Connecticut. Now, I did not watch a lot of Connecticut basketball this season. I didn't even watch the national championship game. Wasn't interested. I was kind of hoping we went for Keontae George from Baylor because I watched a lot more of his games this year. I watched a lot more of his games this year, and I'm more familiar with his game. We need a dynamic two that can go and put the ball in the hoop. Honestly, we can use whatever we can get. There's no great big men in the NBA draft this year, so go and get all the wing players that you can get. Jay Hawkins, I seen you, man. I seen your emotion and your solace with getting drafted. You were humble, you were appreciative, and I have no doubt that you are going to come in and do everything that you can possibly do to help the franchise move forward. Let's get this straight. Let's be real. When these dudes be crying, they not crying because they got drafted to a franchise in the NBA that they actually want. Hawkins is not crying. You hear me? He is not crying because he wants to actually be a part of New Orleans Pelicans. No, he's not crying because he's not crying. A lot of these dudes are crying because they're about to get a bag. They're about to get a bigger bag than they've ever seen their parents get, their grandparents get, their uncle, their aunties. They are about to be the person that changes the dynamics of their family forever. That's why they crying. That's why they crying. They not crying because of the franchise that they got. They not even crying because they're in the NBA. You had an agent tell you for the last 3 to 4 months you're gonna make. You're not shocked you was in the NBA. That you're in the NBA. You thinking about that first check that's coming in. That's why they cry. They crying because of the money. You hear me? They're not crying because, oh my God, I'm just so thankful to be in it. They're crying because of the money that they're about to see. That seemed damn near unreachable 2, 3 years ago. So, Joy, I listen. I respect it. You're a national champion. I feel like you're gonna bring a certain attitude to the New Orleans Pelicans. But them tears don't move me, brother. Them tears don't move me, brother. You better hoop. You better hoop. Yeah. Hawkins, you better hoop. Them tears. Zion gave me tears. Zion gave us tears. You better hoop expeditiously. What do you contribute to this team that's already full of wings? Now let's talk about this. Because the New Orleans Pelicans were in talks with moving up to get Scoot Henderson. But they didn't want to deal Zion and they didn't want to deal Brandon Ingram. I'm going to tell you right now. If Scoot Henderson ends up being a better basketball player, a better NBA talent than Brandon Ingram and Zion Williams in the next 3 to 4 years, if Scoot Henderson surpasses one of them in the next 3 to 4 years, I want everybody in the Pelicans front office to be fired. Facts. You gonna keep Freaky Z instead of going get Scoot? All right. You drafted Freaky Z instead of another athletic guard. And albeit, Jai's having his own struggles. Sure. But at least he's playing. At least he's playing. I will take Jai and his trigger finger happiness over Freaky Z and his inability to play any day. You couldn't hoop because you mentally wasn't there. But you pulling hamstrings and you busting down porn stars, brother. What you on, brother? Oh, but you got 7 weigh-ins in your new contract. Oh, you need to make an all-star team, or you need to make an all-NBA team. Oh, you need to hoop to get this new money. All right, let's see what you do. I'm not mad at them deciding to keep the Brandon Ingram and Zion tandem together. You don't want to lose Brandon Ingram because people in the locker room are going to fall off. Which, who gives a damn? Do you think I give a damn if Jackson Hayes wants to leave because Brandon Ingram ain't there? You think I give a damn if Jose Alvarez wants to leave because Brandon Ingram ain't there? You think I give a damn if Trey Murphy wants to leave because Brandon Ingram? I've been preaching to trade some of these dudes the whole season. I don't care if they don't want to leave. I don't care if they want to leave if Brandon Ingram not there. Who gives a damn? But, all right, Brandon Ingram is too much of a focal point in the locker room, too much of a leader in the locker room for you to trade him for the likes of a young rookie that might not pan out. Okay, cool. These niggas better win. These niggas better win expeditiously. Brandon Ingram better not ask for a trade he better not ask for a trade this year. If you had the opportunity to trade Brandon Ingram to Portland in order to get at a chance to get Scoot Henderson, and you didn't do it, and Scoot ends up being an all-star in the next 2 to 3 years, Sell the team. Get out of New Orleans. Then this front office is proven to be just as pissy as the prior regime. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You want to stick with Zion and Brandon Ingram, then fine. Stick with them. They better ball them. And Scoop better not be what we think he can be, which is one of the next dynamic guards in the NBA. Scoop come out and win the Rookie of the Year, and Zion don't make it to the All NBA team or All Star. If they don't make it to the playoffs, and Brandon Ingram requests a trade halfway through the season, and next summer, everybody in the front office should be banned from the city of New Orleans after that. I ain't gonna hold you. They better ball. They better ball. As far as the rest of the first round, man, wasn't really any pickups that really amazed me, shocked me. I think the Jazz did get a steal with Keontae George, but I had to pick a steal of the draft. I think the Utah Jazz did get that with Keontae George. Very athletic scorer. Can put the ball in the hoop, bro. Can put the ball in the hoop. Not quite Donovan Mitchell, but can be Donovan Mitchell light. I think the Jazz just found their next stable piece. Jordan Clarkson is about to be out of a job. If Keontae George proves to be what I think he can be, Jordan Clarkson is going to be out of a job. And somebody in the front office of New Orleans Pelicans should be out of a job as well because we had a chance to draft. These niggas never draft who I want them to draft. We drafted Kira Lewis. Shout out to Kira Lewis dealing with injuries. We could have got Tyrese Maxey. We could have got Cam Reddish, the dynamic wing that we actually have been trying to draft the last two drafts. Could have got Cam Reddish, but we settled with Jackson Hayes, who should have been traded by the deadline. The Pelicans never draft. We could have got Cole Anthony. Could have got Cole Anthony. I rock with Herb Jones. I'm not mad at Herb Jones. Herb Jones is panning out to be a defensive player of the year in the next year or so. I'm not mad at Herb Jones. Could have had Cole Anthony. This is a Pelican because my niggas ain't listen. It is what it is. Okay. As far as outside of the lottery, I mean the first round is what it is. Still of the draft. I think the Jazz might have got still of the draft. If you ask me my way too early Rookie of the Year predictions. Now I got it right last year with Paolo. Oddly enough, I don't think Victor is going to win Rookie of the Year. He should. He's the favorite, but I don't know. I don't know if Victor is going to win Rookie of the Year. I will go. I'll go with our guy. I'll go with Jay Hawkins for Rookie of the Year. I'll go with Jay Hawkins for Rookie of the Year. Shout out to my Unc, man. Shout out to Unc. What up, Unc? That's where I get my name from. Where do you see the Hornets going now that Jordan will no longer lead the franchise, and how? And do you think he was holding them back? Man, where do I see the Hornets going? Man, I don't, to oblivion, to the abyss. I don't really see the Hornets really elevating or downgrading. Jordan is proven to be one of the worst GM/owners in NBA history. Just because you're great at playing a game don't mean that you're great at recruiting talent and doing what you do. Now, I do think that they made the right pick with Brandon Miller this year, but I don't. Honestly, I see the Hornets. If anything, the Hornets can go up. The Hornets have nowhere else to go but up from it. That's why I see the Hornets going up. You got fresh minds, a fresh perspective, a realistic perspective, a millennial perspective, And I think the Hornets, them making the move they made with Brandon Miller tonight shows me that they can't go anywhere but up from here. That's why I see them. As far as him holding them back, yeah, because he's just not that great of a. He's just not that great at evaluating. He drafted Kwame Brown. He drafted Kwame Brown. He drafted Michael Kidd Gilchrist. And so, yeah, your front offices are only as strong as your recruiting efforts and you being able to identify talent. And if he's really making those decisions, he's held them back because who have you put in a Hornets uniform from the Bobcats to the Hornets? Who have you put in a uniform to help elevate the franchise outside of LaMelo? And LaMelo is looking a little shaky, baby. Yeah. So it's not he holding them back just for the simple fact that he's not that great at evaluating talent. That's what I would say. But I say they have no place but to go up because they took a whole step back this season. You know what I mean? But shout out to the Hornets. I mean, I think Brandon Miller's a good pickup. And with the right coach and the right talent in play, they can make a splash in the East. The East is right for the picking right now, But MJ, I don't think he really elevated. He elevated the brand as far as the brand, but as far as them as a basketball team, he didn't do anything for them. And I think they just go up from here. Thank you, Unc. I appreciate you. I love you, man. Um, Last thing before we get out of here. Last thing, yeah, Rookie of the Year. I think Hawkins might get it, or Brandon Miller might get it. You know what I mean? Or I'm sorry, I think Portland's going to deal Dame. If Portland deals Dame before the season starts, Scoot Henderson is getting Rookie of the Year. Believe that. I don't think Victor's going to be that significant to turn the Spurs around. Even though Spurs got a good young core with Keldon Johnson, the Dennis Rodman Jr. and Victor, I think they got an opportunity to do some things this year, but I don't think he's going to turn the franchise around in a year span. But Rookie of the Year, I mean, you didn't see people run Rookie of the Year when their team got 20 wins, so it is what. But I think Brandon Miller might be a strong candidate, or not Hawkins. Other than that, man, the draft I think was pretty well balanced with talent. I think we're gonna see some guys pop up as potential all stars down the road. I want to talk about some of the trades. Let's talk about some of the trades that happened. Um, the most significant trade that's happened thus far, I feel like, is the Chris Paul to Golden State, pretty much for Jordan Poole to the Wizards. I like it. I like it for both parties. Golden State, immediately after the season, you see Steve Kerr, you see Stephen Curry. You, I'm surprised that they decided to deal Jordan Poole. We all know why Jordan Poole fell off in the playoffs. That he wasn't about to help the dude that socked them win a championship. Is you crazy? Is you stupid? Jordan Poole knew exactly what he was doing. He's not about to help his team win a championship when you just stood behind a dude that put me to sleep on national television, on the social medias, on the waves. And so I like him to Washington because Washington's pretty much tore down a whole team and they're looking to rebuild with a bunch of draft picks and a young star, in which I feel like Jordan Poole is. I feel like he's a young, potential perennial all-star who's really going to be able to get the ball in his hands and do what he do in the East. And you get the right picks around him, it's going to be good. I like Chris Paul in Golden State. I feel like it's a good fit because now you get Steph that gets to run across a bunch of 100,000 screens. Clay gets to run across 100,000 screens. Steph doesn't have to worry about creating his own shot or facilitating the offense as much. The offense can be facilitated through Dre and Chris, who can also knock down his own jumper. And I think it's a good fit for an older Golden State team who's obviously focused on winning now through the remaining end of Steph's prime. And so, I think it's a good fit. I think it's the best fit for what Chris was trying to do. And I think Washington's a good fit for Jordan Poole. It's a good city. It's young. It's black. And I think you're gonna have a lot of fun out there. And I think he's gonna really hoop out there. That's been the most significant trade to me. I feel like Golden State getting CP3 kind of tips the scales just a little bit, potentially, if he can stay healthy. And I feel like Jordan Poole going to Washington is the fresh start that he needs, because he was not going to continue to bust his ass for a team that is standing behind a dude that put him night night. He's a millennial. He's petty. That wasn't gonna happen. Bradley built a Phoenix. Good move. I don't two ball dominant two guards. I don't know how that's gonna work, but good move. You got three scores on one squad. Good move. But I don't know. Kristaps Porzingis being the thing that makes Boston the favorites in the East. Not really sold, but we'll see how it works. I feel like Marcus Smart was holding Boston back, so we'll see how it works. But that is what it is. As far as the rest of the NBA draft, man, I'm just going off the first round, baby. Second round, who knows? You get a Joker, you get, Draymond, somebody out of the second round, but who cares? Shout out to everybody, man, that's tuning in. If you watch us, make sure you subscribe to us at the Uncredible Sources, man. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube, Reach Over Culture. Make sure you subscribe to the Instagram at Uncredible Sources, man. This is Rock. Shout out to my brothers. And if you are interested in joining the Uncredible Sources, man, we are looking for new talent. We're looking to relaunch. And if you have any inquiries about joining the Uncredible Sources, man, from wherever you at, holla at me, DM me, at Real Name Rock. You heard? And we will get you plugged in, and I'll see if you can really hang for what we got going on here. Peace and love, people. Good night. Love. Love.